testifies, I want to ask from the counsels, all of them, whether they still intend Mr. Mosia to come and testify after having listened and seen the exhibits which were read into the record by Lieutenant Ngwane.
As the court proceeds, we do from on behalf of accused 1 and 2, we do.
What do you want to pursue? Let me understand.
My lord, there are discrepancies with respect to his testimony and the book entry with respect to the timing when he came back onto the scene from those two other scenes, because now, just to put to him that the scene was left unattended for that period of time, and anything could have happened to it, because he didn't return, as he said, at 6 or 7 in the morning. He returned much later at 10:25.
No, but I'm asking you because now we've got documentary evidence in his own hand to say he left at 1 a.m. to 2 a.m. He did this and that and that and that. If it clashes with his evidence, why can't you argue?
Yes, then I can leave it for argument. I can leave it for argument. My learned colleagues will speak for themselves now.
Yeah. And I'm not persuading you, I'm just saying for me.
No, my lord, we cannot just argue on that, my lord, because the witness has testified, my lord, and from the documents that have been submitted yesterday, when listening to that evidence and what has been testified before, my lord, with my respect, with my case, it appears that I need to cross-examine the witness.
On what?
Yes, my lord.
On what?
On the question, remember, my lord, my question was, what are the cases that you went to attend?
Yeah, we saw them.
Yes.
We saw them in the exhibit of the Register of Planning it.
My lord,
the cases.
my lord, whether we see them or we don't see them, I am still entitled.
Why do you shout? Why do you shout?
I'm sorry, my lord.
Why do you shout?
If I speak too loud.
No, you're not speaking too loud. You're shouting.
Oh, my apologies, my lord. My lord, even if it's there on the documents, however, I still need to cross-examine the witness, my lord. That's my request.
We're talking here like civilized individuals. So you want him to be called back?
Yes, my lord.
Mr. Ngumalo?
Yes, I will appreciate if he is recalled.
Fine, Mr.
In fact, my lord, there's a discrepancy between the viva voce evidence and the documentary evidence, in the sense that he says that he went to attend the business robbery from the scene of this case. But when one looks at the document, he visited that scene at, I think, 10 to 11 before he went to this case. So there are various questions that I would like to pose to him. If the court can allow us he be recalled, I'll appreciate it. Thank you.
Mr. Misi.
I share the same sentiment.
Okay. Mr. Marui, when can you arrange for Mr. Mosia to come back?
We can check his availability next week sometime.
Yeah, fine, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, but he has to return, okay?
As a courtesy.
Yeah, fine.
Thank you. The state calls the next witness. It's Captain Mchali. The witness is on the witness list, my lord.
Captain Mchali?
Yes, Captain Mchali.
Okay.
Captain Charlie, he's just outside. My lord, this witness is going to testify in respect of exhibit that has already been handed up. His full names are Bonkinkosi Blessing Mtshali. Mtshali is M-T-S-H-A-L-I. The witness is going to testify in respect of Exhibit X2, which has already been handed up. We have attached an annexure there to Exhibit X2 is annexure A and B. We just beg leave to hand up the enlarged copy of Exhibit X2, which has already been handed up, together with the two annexures. My colleagues have been finished with the annexures. My Lord, we stepping off the scene slightly. We back at Exhibit X3, the firearm that was found in the possession of accused number 3. The witness is simply going to explain as to why this firearm, which was destined to be destroyed, why it was not eventually destroyed.
Okay. Yeah, sir.
Amagama aphelele.
Bonke Nkosi Blessing Mtshali.
Ungaba nenkinga ukuthi uthathe isifungo sokukhuluma iqiniso.
Hayi inkinga futhi.
Uyafunga ke ukuthi ubufakazi uzophana ngabo manje kuyiqiniso lodwa iqiniso liphelele ngaphandle kokunye. Uma ngabe kunjalo phamisa esokudla isandla uthi inkosi ngisize ngikhuluma iqiniso.
Inkosi ngisize ngikhuluma iqiniso.
Oath taken, my lord.
Yes.
You are a captain in the South African Police and attached to the Visible Policing Unit. Is that correct?
Wena ke ngukapteni lapha nesiphoyiseni usebenzela i-Visible Policing Unit.
Yebo kunjalo.
It is so, yes.
How many years service do you have?
Iminyaka usebenza lapha nesiphoyiseni?
25 years.
25 years.
Is it correct that during the period 2019 to 2022, you were attached to Cleveland Police Station as the SAP 13 store commander?
Ngabe kunjalo ukuthi ukusuka ku 20 kulo nyaka 2019 ukufika kulo nyaka 2022 ubusebenzela iCleveland Police Station usebenza khona lapha yana ke iSAP 13 ubu storage lokho njani commander lapha?
Yebo kunjalo.
It is indeed so.
Is it correct that you were in charge of, in your capacity as the...
Not to that line of questioning, it's the evidence should come from the witness, my lord. What were his duties? Yes. Thank you, my lord.
The copies, as I say, these are just preliminary issues. And I spoke to Advocate Nisi. He doesn't have a problem, with these preliminary issues. I don't know why the objection was raised, but in any case, my lord, we will not dwell on that. In your capacity as the SAP 13 store commander, what did your duties entail?
Manje njengoba wawusebenza ku SAP 13 njenge store commander, umsebenzi wakho wawusho ukuthini ukuthi wenzani?
2018 as the CSC, as a CSC commander.
Ngo 2018 bengi CSC commander.
And by then I was a warrant officer.
Ngaleso sikhathi bengu warrant officer.
Then on 2019 in January, ngasuswa CSC.
In January 2019, I was then removed from CSC.
Ngahanjiswa ku SAP 30 store where I commander khona.
Guys, so I then I was sent to SAP 13 store so that I can be a commander of that office.
Just before you proceed, Captain, just explain CSC, what does it stand for?
CSC Shubtini.
It's a client service center which bears wrong with the church office before.
It stands for Client Service Center, which was previously known as the church office.
Yes, you may proceed. What did your details entail?
Umsebenzi wami lokile ngwenza lapha SAP store ukugada ama exhibits angenile angenayo ahleli ngaphakathi lapha ukuthi angalahleki.
Now the important duty that is attributed to this SAP 13 store that I am doing there is to keep an eye on the exhibits that are stored in SAP 13 so that these exhibits can get lost.
Okunye futhi okubalekile ukuthi lama exhibit ahleli lapha angazi ngesizulu ukuthini kodwa ngesingisi they must not be tampered with.
Further that those exhibits that are stored there should not be tampered with. Kube nesiqiniseko sokuthi le ingxenye zobufakazi abekho abantu abaloku beyibamba okanye izisuso ezibeke lapha ngaphandle kokugunyazwa ukuthi umuntu angakwenza lokho.
Iyo ke umsebenzi wami obalekile ebengiwenza kusukela ngo2019 lapha January up until 2022 October.
January 2019 to October 2022.
So ngo2022 ngangu warrant officer ngaleso sikhathi sa 2019. Then I was promoted in 2022 November to a captain. So ngisese khona ngisayibhekile isengaphansi kwami still a command of SAP 13. Although ngingekho lapha phakathi manje 24 hours or 12 hours.
And then what happened is that I was a warrant officer in 2019. Then I got promoted to being a captain in November 2022. And I'm still the commander in that unit as we speak.
Yeah, when I say kukhona abantu abanye abangaphansi kwami kodwa ngale aminyaka esikhulumela yona la angi physically there.
Even though currently I do have my subordinates, but back then I was personally or physically involved in handling these exhibits. Those were the duties that I was performing in SAP 13.
Right. Now, can you just explain to the court what did your daily duties entailed when, as the SAP 13 store commander? Your interaction with the client service center?
The client service center.
Okay.
I go to CSC.
Ngiyobheka ukuthi akhona nama exhibit angenile from ngakusukela ngo4 mangishayisa kuzoze kube ilanga elilandelayo kusasa ekseni ngo7.
I go to check as to whether are there exhibits that were booked in from 4 in the afternoon up to the 7 o'clock of the next day when I knock in for duty or when I report for duty.
If uthi akhona ama exhibit angenile ngaleyo 16-hour shift eyenzekile, then kuumsebenzi wami ke manje ukuthi ngiwasuse lapha eCSC ngiwase kwi SAP storeroom.
If it so happens that within that interval of about 16 hours, there were exhibits that were booked in during that time, it is my responsibility or my duty to take those exhibits from CSC to SAP 30.
And then when I register SSCSC, we general exhibit register, EU SAP 13 SSCSC. Ama exhibit lawa ngenela asuka register lapho ke kuleyo ncwadi wonke.
Now, there is a register that is called the General SAP 13 Register, Exhibit Register. The General SAP 13 Exhibit Register. All of the exhibits that have been received or booked in are booked in that register.
Right. Then mangwathatha ke lawo ma exhibits ngizowasaynela la kule register ukuthi ngiyawa receive manje eCSC.
Now,
aseza kweyami position storeroom SAP 13.
when I receive these or when I take these exhibits from CSC, I sign for them, indicating that I am now receiving these exhibits from CSC and will now be registering them in the SAP 30.
Indishele exhibit la ukuthi abuye azo alaphansi ayilungise kahle ibe properly sealed.
I will then report or communicate that with the relief commander and as well as the CSC commander to summon the person that had submitted that evidence or that exhibit back, and so that he can then be able to properly work with that particular exhibit.
So engisho ukuthi azikho impahla esuke CSC ziye kwi storeroom lesimine bengisigada ezingekho properly sealed, especially ama item amancane. Yebo akhona ama item amakhulu angaka le TV asinayo iplastic efake TV engaka.
What I'm trying to say is there isn't of the exhibits that would be removed from the CSC to SAP 13 under my watch that would then be received into the SAP 13 and it is not properly sealed. Yes, I need to concede to the fact that we do have bigger exhibits such as the size of this TV here. I want to say that we don't have the forensic bag for that.
Uma ke sengiziregistrile ke lawo ma exhibit lawo ke la, then mina la ngisenza khola is
exhibits in this register. We do have what is called the walk-in safe.
yes. I-walk-in safe ukuthi ungangena umile and you walk around is.
Yeah, that means you just walk in as the name says. You walk into that safe while you are still standing and you can still walk around inside of the safe.
But i-walk-in safe which efakwe steel and a concrete, there is no windows. It's only one safe door which is this thick.
And it is a walk-in safe that is constructed with steel and the concrete as well. And the door, there's no windows. There's just a door that is as thick, a steel door that is as thick as this.
And njoba ngangi-interested ke ngaleyo SAP 13, the keys, I was the only one who handling them. For example, namanje ngisaziphethe ezasebhanyini, njoba ngila for the past 4 days, akekho umuntu ongenayo lapha. They have to wait for me because I'm the only one who's got a key.
I am the only person that is in possession of that key to the SAP safe, SAP 13 safe. I am right here, for an example, and the keys had been in my possession for the past 4 days. There isn't any person that has gotten access into that safe because I'm the only person that is in possession of those keys to the safe.
So, ipamu azehlala kuyo ki walk-in safe.
Now,
and bese kuba nenye esincane walk-in safe la ukuhlala ama other izinto edurayo ama-ring amawashi ama-cell phone onke lezo zinto but ipamu they are only kept zona zodwa.
Now, the firearms are separately kept inside of the walk-in safe. We do have another walk-in safe in which we put other valuables such as the watches, cell phones, rings. However, my emphasis are that firearms are kept in their own safe.
So after ke lokho sengizithekile ngazilabela because ibizwa ukuthi is labeling of the exhibits ziyakhiyelwa ngizithathwe ke zibekwe lapha bese ngiyakhiya ke.
Now, after they have been labeled or tagged, we call that labeling. We take them, put them in the safe, we then lock them in there.
So once it's there ke hayi okwami nje sekugada ke ngilindeke ukuthi ubani ozozofuna le exhibit nanokuthi funeka isiwe kuphi phela.
Now, once they are in there, mine is to wait for any person that will be looking for that particular exhibit that is stored in there. Where should it be taken to? That's just what I will be waiting for.
And who would normally be looking for those exhibits, the firearms?
Kuyobe kuba ubani ke ozobe efuna lezo ingcenye zobufakazi ama-exhibit la?
Isikhathi esiningi kuba i-IO ezayo for further investigation yakhe or maybe into iyafuneka e-court or whatever the reason may be.
Many a times it will be the investigating officer so that they can further their investigation. And so has brought an item with SAP number, SAP 13 number, and as well as the OB number is given. The OB stands for the occurrence book.
Yes. And Captain, if I can just ask you, in light of your position as the commander of the SAP 13 store, do you have access to the records that are kept in the SAP 13?
Ngabe unako ke ama record walama exhibit afaka SAP 13.
Yebo akhona enye inkulu yiyo yona le SAP 13.
Yeah, we do have, and one of the main ones, it's this one, yes, that I'm having.
Yes, Exhibit X2, yes.
The Exhibit X2.
Yes.
Yes, the Exhibit X2.
Masiqhubeka siya column number 2. Column number 2 kufuneka kugcwaliswe igama lesteshi ne case number nanokuthi le exhibit engene la yini charge yayo.
Now, when we proceed to column number 2 is there for the recording of the station and as well as the case number that is pertinent to that case number as well.
And then 3.1 is the main one. It's the main ukuthi akumele ukuthi uyishiye iblank because yiyo le efaka ama details ukuthi yini le exhibit okhuluma ngayo.
Now, 3.1, it's the main column. This is the column that cannot be left unfilled because it does say what is it in particular that you are registering in or that you are in.
And then sibe no column 4. Column 4 ke ama details omuntu oletha leyo exhibit lapho nanokuthi itholakale kuphi kanjani nanokuthi ine owner na bese yasayina ku 4.3 u 4.4 ukuthi mina Captain Mtshali ime ngilethele signature sorry ime ngilethele exhibit.
Now, column 4 has to do with the name of a person that is bringing the items, whether that item has got the owner, and finally that the person that is bringing that item would then have to sign.
Then ube ku 4.5 a CSC commander or relief commander must una kumele ukuthi asayine I acknowledge ukuthi isise position yakhe kwi CSC safe exhibit.
And 4.5, it is the CSC commander now supposed to sign for that exhibit to confirm that in his safe or in his possession he has received this exhibit. He must sign for it.
And then column number 5 column number 5 ilapho kufuna mina la engisayina khona mangithatha exhibit SCSC ukuthi ngiyayireceive ke manje seyiya kwi position yami store room. Ilapho futhi okufakwa khona ama senior A2 lapha afaka khona ama instruction with a red pen if ungaboni original. All the instructions afakwa nge red pen ukuthi what yini ofuneka yenziwe ngaleyo exhibit.
Now, column number 5, this is where I receive the exhibit myself. And in this particular column, there's also the instructions from our senior indicating what is it in particular that needs to be done or how it should be handled, this exhibit that is brought.
And also, EIO, uma le exhibit isa e ballistic or court or further investigation yiyo futhi lapha sayina kuyona ukuthi kwenzaka uyisaphi uyayithatha.
The same column, this is where the IO perhaps he wants this exhibit to be taken to ballistic or it is an exhibit that is needed in court. It is the same column in which he should sign and explain, give a detailed explanation as to why is he booking that exhibit out.
And noma ke exhibit sihambile for instance ihambile ye ballistic or ye court mayibuya futhi seyibuyela back kumina lapha nafuneke asayine futhi ukuthi ngelanga lokuthi mina exhibit sengibuyisile kuyenzeka ukuthi exhibit ithathwe wena bhuti maribuyiswe umunye umuntu.
Upon returning the exhibit from where he had taken to, he has to sign to indicate that he himself had brought that exhibit back to where he had taken it from initially. Sometimes it does happen that the exhibit is taken by one person but returned by a different person.
But nje lo muntu ozoyibuyisa lo exhibit yena uyasayina la ukuthi ngihandishe back ku SAP store.
Irrespective of the person that is bringing, that person that is bringing it back into the store must sign to say that he is the one that had brought it back into the store. We were busy with column 5.
And then go column 6 ilapho kwemanje sekufuna ukuthi i-exhibit le ekwi-position yethu ekwithina lapha e-store room ufuneke i-disposwe ke manje mhlawumbe i-case ile or kwenza kodwa nje ufuneke i-disposwe then column 6 ke la isayinisa khona abantu ukuthi ubani othathe lento isekwe mhlawumbe lo full owner ukuthi uyayisayinela ukuthi ayithathe yakhe mhlawumbe i-state isibona ngcono destroy yasibhalwa funa la ukuthi lento ithathiwe yasiwe endaweni ukuthi destroy.
Now, column number 6 has to now deal with the items that was brought to the store, which now has to be disposed of. It could be that the has been closed or has been finalized, and such an item must then be disposed of, or perhaps the owner would want to now book it out. However, this is the column in which such an occurrence is recorded.
So incwadi ke njengoba ngichazile kusuka column 1 ya ku 6 as long nje ucolumn 6 engakabhalwa next open like this one, so which kusho ukuthi logo leyo exhibit ikhona is a storeroom ayikanyakazi.
Now pertaining this column number 6, as long as it hasn't been filled, there isn't any signature pertaining a particular exhibit, it means that particular exhibit is still in the storeroom or in the store.
Kungenzeka ukuthi lesami storeroom la ngibuya khona kwesami station mhlambe isathathiwe ise Cape Town, kila abantu base Cape Town, la kumini sazohlala i-open kanje, abili bangitshele abaze Cape Town ukuthi ibile what instruction ukuthi manje kufuneka wenzeni ngayo.
It does not necessarily mean that to say that it is in the storeroom, it is in my immediate storeroom or in the safe that I am in charge of. It may so happen that the item or the exhibit may have been booked out. It is in Cape Town. Those people in Cape Town, they will then have to inform us further what needs to happen with that particular exhibit. But on my side, the column will remain unfilled, indicating it is still within the possession of the SAPS. That's how the book is, sir.
Right. Now, if I can ask you to turn to the second entry there on Exhibit X2 with the serial number 67.
Is there a second entry or the column itself?
Yeah, the first column there of with the serial number
Okay.
67.
Okay. La phambi kwami ke la kulo exhibit X2 sine sequence number la, which is number 67. If we compare uyabona landela entry before le kuno 66 67 okusho kona ukuthi ayikho enye entry part nendawo esusiwe.
Now, on this column here, this is the column for a sequence number as well. You can see that the previous one, or the one above, it's number 66, and this one is 67. That is indicative of the fact that there isn't any entry that was removed between the two entries.
And then you must say kune date la kusho ukuthi le exhibit le yangena kwa iphi date okusho ukuthi yangena ngo 2015-08 ngezi 10.
Now, there's also an entry there for the date, which indicate when was this exhibit booked in, which is then the 10th of August 2015, according to this entry here.
And then kona lapha ke CSC lento ngithi CSC lento yayisafakwa lapha put. So kwenziwa i-entry futhi kwi-OP, which is OP 928 of 2015. Osho ukuthi cha ngempela lento le ifaki kona CSC.
Now, this item was also booked into CSC, and there is an OB number that is therefore allocated to that particular item. And in this case, we have got an OB number 928/2/2015. Yes.
And then ke bese kuthi lapha ngenzansi kune 13 number ke manje, that is the number for the exhibit, is 86/2015.
Now, below that number, the OB number, there's a 13 number, or the SAP 13 number, which is 86/2015.
Yes. Captain, if I can ask you to turn to column number 5.
Yes, yeah.
What is the date there?
Lana, date iti ku column number 5. The first entry ku column number 5 lapa is 2015-02-10, which is item 01 to 3, received by, I don't know, I cannot read this thing. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, the witness indicates that the date there is the 10th of 02-2015, and item 01 to 03 received by, and the witness couldn't read that one.
Okay, no, I've got it right now. This thing happened in 2015, and I was not there 2015.
Yes.
Land
But I can
again
explain
on
what happened.
2015.
So, masingabheka kancane my lord ukuthi mawungala pa 4.5 njengoba bengichazile ukuthi the CSC commander or the relief commander funeka acknowledge ukuthi we receivile exhibit. Then ngiyambona la is my colonel now is Captain Mshwana who acknowledged at 4.5. And I can just say yes 6384449 is service number yakhe and signature yakhe. Now I can see. Yes. Kushuthi ngalilanga leli uye uCaptain Mshwana waye CSC commander or relief commander on that day when this ngalisikhathi item le ifakwa lapha.
Now, on that day, Captain Mshwana may have been the one, is actually the one that had received or acknowledged the receipt of this item, and he signed for it. I can see there is also his work number that is also written down there. So on that day, he could have been the relief commander, and that may have signed for it.
And the date, just repeat the date.
And the date is the same date, that's the 2015-02-10.
Yes.
Uthi idate yona leyo umhla we-10 02-2015.
Now, if I can ask you to then go back to column 1, under that serial number 67 is the date that appears there, correct?
Impela 2015. I know it's not, sir. It's not, sir. The
Yes.
date here is 15-08-10, and then the date here is 2015-02-10.
Right.
Amadate
Cannot
awafani ke.
explain this.
So what should be the correct date?
The correct date should be the 10th, the 10th August.
Shothe amadate lawa awafani. Ngale kuleya column
Yes.
ithi 10 February 2015. Kanti ngapha kule column yokuqala ithi 10 August 2015.
Yes. You've just explained that the date on which the exhibit received is 10 February 2015. What should be the correct date there under column 67?
And it should be the same as this one.
Thank you. And just put that on record.
Yes,
What should be the correct date?
The correct date should be the 2015-02-10.
Shuthi ke ngakule column yokuqala la kubhalwe khona ke i10 August 2015. I-date kuyona ke eqondile yi-10 zika February 2015. Hayi i-10 zika August 2015.
Hayi cha.
Yes.
Lokubhalwe la ngekuphikisisa.
Yes.
Whatever that is written here, I cannot dispute it.
Yes, you can proceed, Captain.
And then the next entry kwaba yilo futhi lolo suku lelange 2015-02-10 lapho uDetective Sergeant Masondo ayiphukela out ukuthi uyayithatha lento uchaza ukuthi ayikwenzeke kanjalo.
The next entry is that one of the 10th of February 2015. Detective Sergeant Masondo uyena ke owathatha ke lento okanye lengxenye yobufakazi athi uyayikhipha ke manje ngizocacisa ukuthi kwakwenzakalani.
So ama exhibit ngesinye isikhathi ibopha umuntu is an exhibit.
Now the IO would arrest a person and then bring an exhibit. This is what
Mhlambe nje sikhulume nje ngesibhamu esitholakale kuyena.
let us say there's a firearm that was found in the possession of that person.
Uma ukuthi uyayiprioritize leyo case uzoyipha into aphinde ngaso leso sikhathi futhi mayiqeda ukuregister everything ne aphinde ayibhuke out futhi ayihambise eballistic.
If he is prioritizing that particular case or that item, he will book the item in and all the entries would be made pertaining that item that was booked in, and immediately or at the same time, he would book it out again, perhaps for ballistic.
Yes.
Is that what happened in this
Yiko
system?
lokho kwenzekile la. Ayizange isize nje storeroom ke le. Yagcina CSC yafakwa yabhekwa kwenziwa yonke into and siyahamba futhi ya kwi-ballistic.
This item didn't even come to the storeroom. It went to the CSC, and all the recordings pertaining that items were made. There and then, it was then taken or booked out again.
What is this item under column 3? Just put that on record.
Okay, the items khulunywa ngayo ke la but it's a 1x9mm black pistol. It's a CZ75 caliber and iluka. So abantu CZ sometimes babhala iluka, sometimes babhala CZ. Kodwa la lo muntu usibhala wonke amagama because as ngishilo ekuqaleni nathi mawi recorder i-exhibit item yonke into ebhalwe kuyona kufanele kuyifake la.
Now, under that column, the item is recorded there. It is the 9mm black pistol, CZ75 caliber, and then Iluga. Then he wrote all the details pertaining to that particular items. Other people will just write C75 caliber and leave the Luga out.
And also, 3.1, a serial number, ubhalo ukuthi filed off. Kusho ukuthi ngalesikhathi eyibheka yena lento ngama naked ngamehlwethu la wenyama akayitholanga ukuze serial number yalesibhamu.
Now, also the serial number, it is written here, filed off, which means that when he looked with his eyes, he couldn't see the serial number on that particular item.
And then enye into futhi exhibit eyafakwa khona la together kunalento le 3.2 kwakuyi 28 times live rounds.
The other thing that was also recorded here, entered here, that is now 3.2, item 3.2, 28 live rounds. Tike kwafakwa ke kwabhala khona lapho inhlamvu ezo 28.
Then u3.3 futhi kwa mention ukuthi kwaba khona ne-empty magazine eyayikhona lapho eyayihamba nazo. Why empty? Ngoba uma umthola umuntu nesibhamu uyazihlukanisa inhlamvu uyazikhipha ku magazine. That's why label yona is an empty magazine.
Now, further, when we get to item 3 or item 3.3, there was an empty firearm magazine. And why was the magazine empty? When you apprehend or you find a person in possession with a firearm, you have to dismantle or pull out the magazine from the firearm and take out the bullets as well. That is why this magazine is labeled empty.
Yes.
And then, yes.
Yes. Yeah, sorry, you can continue.
Then kwayisiyabhala kahle impela lo baba wayibhala uMasondo wathi all these items lezi ezingenhla they were sealed in a forensic serial number FSE 385083. This is perfect.
Now, this gentleman Masondo then generalized that the items above that have been mentioned above have been sealed with a forensic bag that has got the serial number FSE 385083.
Thank you. Captain, after the explanation that you've given, can we then focus on column 5 that explains as to how this exhibit was dealt with? We can turn to, you've already mentioned that it was booked out by Sergeant Masondo on the 10th of February 2015, immediately after it was booked in. How was it dealt with further?
Njoba ke ngishilo ekuqaleni ukuthi ngayo futhi same date le qeda kuyi-register le exhibit waphinde wayithatha futhi
As I've already indicated that on the very same date that he had booked it in, he booked it out.
And then
Masondo.
on 2015-02-24, which means 14 days after, uDlamini, Constable Dlamini, wayibuyisa item 01203 booked back from ballistic lab Pretoria by Constable Dlamini. Njoba bengishilo ekuqaleni ukuthi
Yeah.
I've brought it to the attention of my colleague, my lord, that before we deal with this evidence, because there's a lot of cut and paste here, we will want to have a view of the original register.
No problem.
Thank you, my lord.
The original register is available. Yes, you may proceed.
I'm not so sure, my lord, because I indicated to him that before we deal with this evidence, now I realize that we will be proceeding to deal with the evidence, just to compare the originality and the authenticity that is of the information that is contained in these photocopies vis-a-vis what is contained in the original register.
No, fine. Let the witness first give
short
the
adjournment.
evidence as
Yes.
he's being led, and then you've got all the rights to peruse the original documents he was referring to, and thereafter he may be recalled, and then you can cross-examine him. Is that not the procedure?
Excuse me, my lord, I couldn't get what you were saying.
Let him give his evidence as he's being led.
Yes.
After he's through, and after you have been accorded the register, the original register, and all those documents from which he is reading from,
Yes, sir.
when adducing the evidence,
Yes.
you study them together with your colleagues. When you are satisfied that you have priced them, then you will be called back to the stand, and you can cross-examine him.
Thank you. Captain, you can continue.
If I were to just interpret what the captain said earlier, that on the 24th of February 2015, these very items referred to, which were put in the forensic bag, were brought back by one Constable Dlamini, and we are referring to items 1 to 3. They were booked back from ballistic.
and then uzonotice lapha futhi ukuthi kune signature kaDlamini ne
And also there is Dlamini's signature as well here.
uye wayibuyisa iexhibit ebuyise ballistic elet storeroom station.
He is the person that brought the exhibit from ballistic to the station, SAP 30.
Njoba ngicazile ekuqaleni ukuthi kuyenzeka ukuthi ithathwe wena but uthola umuntu ePretoria after 5 weeks or a year would ayo collector kube uyena o collector, so uyofuna sign.
As I have already indicated that it may have been booked out by myself, and then there is one person that will be going to Pretoria perhaps even after 5 weeks or so, and when they go to Pretoria and upon their return, they will be bringing this item from ballistics.
And then ngaleso sikhathi ke kwakusebenza omunye umuntu akasekho, was rest in peace. Akasekho lo baba lo wayireceive yena wayifake safe.
Now, during that time, there was a different person that was working there. May his soul rest in peace. He is no longer with us. He's the one that had received this item into the safe. Yes.
If I can ask you then to turn over the page. Oh, maybe just before that. The entry below the date 24 February 2015.
Yebo. Ake makuqeda la njoba bengishilo ekuqaleni ukuthi even nama instructions from our seniors, branch commanders angena la ku column 5.
As I've already explained that some instructions from seniors, like your branch commanders, these are generalized here in this column.
Njengoba sibona idate lapha na ithi 2017 November 10 kwaba ne-instruction eyafakwa la ku-item 3.1 ukuthi lama-item lawa ke manje awadliwe i-state alinoma forfeit igamel right ngesizulu mathi adliwa i-state ahambe futhi ayo-destroy, so nje forfeited to the state and to be destroyed.
And then on the 10th of November 2017, there was an instruction as indicated earlier that the superiors would be giving the instructions pertaining these exhibits. 3.1 here, it says that these items were to be forfeited to the state or be confiscated by the state for destruction, or that it be destroyed.
Who gave that instruction?
The instruction was given by the branch commander or Lieutenant Colonel Matahale.
Branch Commander Lieutenant Colonel Matahale Guyenage owapanage ngaleyo instruction ukuthi leyo nganye yobufakazi ke mayolahlwa okanye yo destroy.
Captain, can you then explain the procedure? What is the procedure once that instruction has been given, step by step?
If thina ke manje 13 sithola ke manje ukuthi sekune instruction efana nale ukuthi isibhamu leso lo exhibit leni kunje kune exhibit manje ithi forfeit to the state and to be destroyed. Then kune process ke elandelwayo awuveli into uyithathe nje uyifake dustbin.
Now, once we have received that instruction that a particular item should be forfeited to the state and be destroyed, you do not just take it and discard it into the bin or the waste bin.
Especially ke manje mangizoba nje straightforward ukuthi makukhuluma ngesibhamu la.
Particularly if one has to make mention of the fact that we're talking about a firearm
And the live ammunitions.
and the live ammunition neyinhlamvu ke.
Nenhlamvu so lapho. Kune process ke elandelwayo kunama forms okufuneka ukuthi agcwaliswe.
There is a process that needs to be followed. There are forms that needs to be completed.
What are those forms?
Amaphi lawo ma-form?
Kune form B, which
There's-
is a forfeiture of the firearm.
There's a form called 522B for the forfeiture of the firearm.
And there is a form which is 521F, which is a lost, found, and stolen property.
There's another form called 521F, lost and found item or property.
And then also a ballistic report must be attached there.
Kanti ke ne ballistic report nayo kwamele ke kunywe kuzo lezo zinto.
Nayo amakhophi lawo SAP 13 ayafuneka.
And these SAP 13 copies are also needed as well.
Kuba nane packing note where a packing note is like a list of schedule lesisebenza emsebenzini. Abanye abantu kwezinye indawo babiza ukuthi ama manifest. That thina sithi it's a packing note.
There's also a packing note. Other people would call them a manifest, but we call it a packing note. That forms part of that as well.
And lawo ma packing note ifuneka abe 5 copies.
Those packing notes should be 5 copies of the packing notes.
Just explain what is a packing note.
Packing note into eya createwa la kwethu department.
Now, the packing note is what was created in our own department.
It's like a schedule, njenge schedule or list. Njoba ngishilo uthi njengoma uhamba ngeflight bona mawuthenga ithikithi banikhandela must ukuthi obani abantu abakhona la aeroplane nemthwalo.
The same as the schedule or the list. The example I can use is that of a flight. They call it a manifest. That who are these people that are boarding onto that flight and their luggage and the likes.
So nayo ke lethi packing note lezo fike serial number is izofika SAP 30 number
Now,
layer 86.
Our packing note will then contain or have on it the serial number 86 or
the
the
SAP
SAP 13.
And then kube ne type of a firearm,
Well as the type of firearm hlobo luni lwesibhamu
caliber,
and the caliber as well. Saso hlobo nje lo.
noma kunama rounds omangaka ama rounds akhona hamba
And
naleso
how many live rounds are
And-
with that particular firearm? Inhlamvu ezungakhi
and nemagazini,
naleso sibhamu kanti ke nemagazine and the magazine as well.
and then icolumn yokugcina ile shoyo ke manje the reason yokforfeita if would isibhamu esibi exhibit iyabhalwa lapha exhibit stroke if kuyisibhamu esi voluntary surrendered izobhalwa lapha for so wena fanele kusho ukuthi lesibhamu sidestroyayo is it isibhamu esi besi exhibit or isibhamu besi voluntary.
And that last column would give the reason pertaining to that particular exhibit. For an example, if this is the firearm that is now voluntarily surrendered to the state, you will put there, it is voluntarily surrendered to the state. If it was a firearm that was an exhibit, you will also indicate in that column that this firearm that needs to be destroyed or forfeited to the state was an exhibit.
And then iform efikayo futhi ukuthi na forfeiture forfeiture form not 522A forfeiture form it's like a list.
Now the other form that needs to be filled, it is the forfeiture form, not the 522B, but the forfeiture in which there are lists there that you need to.
Leyo ke isebenza ukuthi kuba ne serial number kube ne case number yaleso sibhamu.
There is a serial number that has to be recorded, the case number of that particular firearm.
And then the SAP 13.
And as well as the SAP 13.
And the name of a person, law niggas instruction. And then this date, la niggas instruction.
And the name of the person that is given that instruction, as well as the date in which the instructions were given. Basically, we are muntu owathola instruction kanjalo nosuku anikezwa instruction ngayo
anikeza ngayo
okanye anikeza ngayo instruction.
And then bese kuba khona elinye li A4 A3 elingaka which is a breakdown of a firearms. So lapho ke manje futhi kubuyele emuva ukuthi lesibhamu lesi singene ngelanga lokuthi for a case number so and a committee yipi crime.
Now, there is also a provision where this particular firearm, the entry pertaining that firearm must also be made. When was it brought in?
Yes, when was it and what charge?
And what charge? And what charge is associated or is attributed to that firearm?
Lama form ogcina ngizowasho ngitshela engizowalabula manje lawa owabhalela lapho my lord is that he picked note the schedule list in a breakdown the forfeiture form no forfeiture list not form lezo zinto lezo zithunyelwa i-provincial.
I guess this is zonke all those items or the forms that we have spoken about the forfeiture form,
not forfeiture list
or the forfeiture list,
the breakdown
list
and the breakdown list. Breakdown, yes. Packing note, breakdown, forfeiture, and a packing note. So there must be four.
There must be four of them.
Yes.
There must be four. It is the packing note.
Yes.
The forfeiture.
Yes.
The breakdown.
Yes.
The breakdown form.
Yes. Did you manage the packing note?
We started with the packing note.
Okay.
There must be four of them.
Must be four.
Yeah, sure, yes.
Okay. It's a packing note.
As they are being itemized, my lord, packing note.
Is the schedule.
The schedule.
And a forfeiture list.
Forfeiture list.
And the breakdown.
And the breakdown.
Yes. The schedule is just mentioning, you just mentioned the firearms, that all of them is there.
Now, on the schedule, you only mention the firearms as they are.
But you don't mention or give instruction or what. You just say SAP 13 number, so and so, firearm. What is it?
The likes of give instruction, you don't record that one. You say P13, these items of the firearms, and then you just record them there.
All those provincial head.
All those forms are sent to us by the provincial head.
And mabe wathumela ke lama form yonke ukuthi kuba i-process end. Mabe wathumela usazowa compile wagcwalisa wonke ama firearms. If you've got 100 firearms, wonke lama firearms funeka abe nalawo form each.
And when they send such forms, all the firearms needs to be attached to each form, and each form has to be filled, and a compilation needs to be made. Let's say, for an example, there's 100 firearms that we need to work on. Each and every firearm needs to receive such attachments in terms of those forms and properly filled.
And you send them, and on those days, remember this is 2015, long time, 2017, bekufuneka nethombe, and you must take pictures of that firearm. You must take 6 pictures of the firearm. Uzithatha kanjani ithombe lezi nduna
Manje ufanele ukuthi uthathe nezithombe ke phezulu kwalokho. Isibhamu ngasinye uthathe ke izithombe ezo6.
Isibhamu sime kanje uzothatha 1 on the left side, 1 on the right side, 1 on top, 1 underneath, 1 at the back where the handle is, and 1 on the barrel. That makes 6.
Now that is how 6 is made up. You have to take from all dimensions of the firearm, on the left, on the right, on the top, and on beneath the firearm, and as well as the front and the back. So the total of those angles are 6.
So ngalesikhathi isibhamu sihamba uyosidestroya uzobe uphethe ifile enamaphepha amaningi for one firearm.
Now, at the time that you are going to be destroying, you're taking the firearm for destruction, you will be in possession of a file, a bunch of a file there with you, for just one firearm.
And ngalesikhathi kukhishwa le instruction in 2017, mina ngoba ngisestation eCleveland, then i-provincial yami ise-Johannesburg Central. Ibhamu bezinga-distractwa lapho beziza la i-logistic ePretoria.
Now, at the time that I was in Cleveland, and Obano said Johannesburg Central?
It's my provincial head.
My provincial head was at the
is it right now? Is it
Johannesburg
yeah.
Central?
But the national logistics where the distraction is Pretoria logistics.
Now, where the distraction would take place is in Pretoria at the logistic. That is the national office where the distraction takes place.
Yibo abazokhipha ke qala laba instruction ukuthi lungisani ibhamu ekufuneka zidestroy. So that thing leyo nto leyenza ukuthi ungathatha 1 year, 2 years, 3 years before ukuthi leso sibhamu leso esesiku list yakho ukuthi kumele siyo distractwa before sihambe siyo distractwa.
Now, when they issue out the instruction that firearms should be brought for destruction, it comes with or that implies that that instruction might take 2-3 years to be carried out. Let's say, for an example, it is a firearm that is in my list of firearms. It will take me about 2 to 3 years to can comply with that instruction for a particular firearm to get to be destroyed.
Masuzuhlanganisileke zonke lezi zinto wazisa iprovincial yazisa district logistic yazipheruza yaba happy ukuthi cha ugcwalise yonke into efunekayo ilesikhathi ke still basazokhiphe yabo idate ngoba akuyi Cleveland station samsisodwa sikhuluma ngedeshi ezi140 in Gauteng ngalelo langa kumele sinikezwe ama date ukuthi nina this west cluster these 5 stations nelanga lokuthi nina ngalelanga lokuthi.
There are various stations that
3-4 months again.
There are various stations that need to comply with the instruction. It is not only Cleveland that is given just that one day. You will find that they are categorized or they are grouped that on such and such a date there should be such and such stations that are bringing the firearm. That is, if the provincial office has already approved your processes, and as well as the fact that it needs to be taken to the national logistics. Now, that needs to be taken into consideration, that there are various stations that has to comply with that particular instructions. Then we're talking about another 4 months, about 4 months that we will be dealing with in terms of the final compliance with that instruction.
You said how many stations are there in Gauteng?
Uthi kunama-stations angakhi eGauteng?
I'm standing to be corrected. Ukuthi ngibe nephutha la. Mara ngokwazi kwami there are 140 Gauteng.
If I'm not mistaken, or based on my knowledge, there's 140.
140.
There's 140 stations in Gauteng.
Yes.
Uthi ngokwazi kwami kuney'teshi ezingenza 140 khona la eGauteng.
Mangathi nje ngalelanga ke lesibhamu mina ngoba ngiqala ukusenza le office ngo2019. That's why ngazenzele yami list ukuthi okay lezi zimele zihamba kanjani kanti sezilungele nje ukuthi mhla kuphuma instruction uzoqala ipaperwork yazo.
I made my own list when I started working in 2019 about these firearms that are in my list, that at any given time, if the instruction is issued, then I should at least be in the position to can be able to comply.
If I can ask you to turn to Annexure A of Exhibit X2, can you just identify the document?
Njengoba uzoyibona i-Annexure A le ukuthi ithi Annexure okay Annexure mina ngabhala la ukuthi firearms ngathi to be destroyed. That was in 2019.
I have written there, as it is appearing on this annexure, firearms to be destroyed.
And mawungabheka lapha this page start only from 11 up to mawungabheka sequence number 19. Nice SAP 13 number there, which is 86/2015. Case number 9602/2015. It's a CZ millimeter. Then there was nothing here at the time because I didn't have a serial number of a firearm by that time.
As it appears on the entry there, number 19, it says SAP 13 number 86/2015, and the case number is 9602/2015, and the name is CZ 9 millimeter. And under the serial number column, it was blank there.
So ngisheshe ngilungise la ukuthi why manje sekubhalwe kanje esikhathi ke isibhamu sesizobhukwa sesisuka ke kumina sisuswa kumina siza la head office. So kwafuneka ngizobhala ukuthi lesibhamu asisekho ngaphandle kwekheyami sithathwe i-national head office.
Now, when there was a need for this firearm to be booked out to the national office, I had to therefore journalize in that column that the firearm is no longer under my care.
Actually, no objection. Just we are a bit lost here. Which firearm we're talking about? We are able to see in column number 1. There are numbers there up to 30. Now we don't know which number specifically.
I said the list you've got here. It's oh yes, sorry. Handwriting it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's number 9.
I would like to apologize on that note.
Number 9, sir.
My handwriting was not proper.
19.
It was not legible there. It is actually number 9, not number 19. Number 9.
Sorry, that number 9 relates to what? A firearm.
Yes, list yami ngazenzela yona la ukuthi ngiziprepare ukuthi ifuneka nje lebhamu 084 destroyed. So it's item number 9.
It does relate. My lord, this is the list that I generated myself, so that it must be readily available in case there's an instruction that some of the items that I have in my list should be sent.
Yeah, to which firearm does it relate to?
This firearm I'm talking about here is mawungabheka the next item le phezulu kubhale SAP 13 number. Then I mentioned number 13 number. Number 9 law uti SAP 13 number yakho is 86/2015.
Now, if you look in that column, that is SAP 13 number. It says 86/2015.
And then mawungabheka the next block there is a case number where kufanele fire khona case number.
And then also the next block would be, or column would be a case number. which I need to put in the case number there.
And then the next column also ilapho engabhala khona amagama esibhamu kanye ne calibra.
And the next column, that is where I have the name of the firearm and as well as the caliber of that firearm.
Okay, the entry which is there now, it happened afterwards when the firearm ihamba put. So begu blank lapha because lesibhamu lesi besingena serial number.
Now, the entry there in the last column, it was actually a blank. Nothing was written there because there was no serial number of that firearm.
Yes, the case number, can you just put that on record as well as the make of the firearm?
The case number lesibhamu lesi it's 96/02/2015.
The case number of this particular firearm is 96/02/2015.
And the firearm
Which
is
station?
Cleveland.
It is the Cleveland
Cleveland
station.
SAPS.
Shonjalo ukuthi is station kwaba is station se Cleveland.
And it's a CZ which is a 9mm.
It is a CZ 9mm shonjalo ke hlobo lwesibhamu CZ 9mm.
And if you turn to the third page of Exhibit X3, there under the last column, can you just read that entry?
Ungakwazi ukusifundela yona le entry line.
Layer 2020/7/20.
No.
Is it that one?
No, the very last column. On page 3,
last
yes.
column. Page 3.
Yes. Yes, that's right.
Okay, the last column now. Makwenziwa ilokhuzane lapha ngithi every 3 months abantu laba bangiphethe bayeza bazokwenza inspection.
Now, every 3 months, my seniors would usually come and do the inspection
To uzobheka isibhamu asikho isibhamu silahlekile.
just to check as to whether there isn't any firearm that got lost.
So bathi mabefika kule entry leya lesibhamu lesi SAP 1386.
And then when they got here, they then checked the 86
And then iba
SAP 1386.
The third page from the beginning. Sorry, my lord, we just want to assist our colleagues.
so
Thank you, Mr.
ngaqhubeka.
Yes.
Can I proceed?
So icolumn 6 kuthe yona why ibhalwe la ukuthi to head office. Ingalesikhathi ke benza inspection then bangibuza ke mina bathi siphi lesibhamu lesi. Ethi mina lesibhamu lesi sabhukwa uKennel at that time it was a Lieutenant Colonel Mangena wasithatha esisa futhi esibuyisela eballistic for re-examination. So la namanye abachethi that's why lesibhamu singekho la istoreroom sami. So Bazabet, no, you must write here that to head office.
Now that column says to head office. It was at the time that they came and they inquired about the whereabouts of this firearm with that SAP 13 number. That is when I explained to them that this firearm was booked out by Colonel, he was Colonel then, Colonel Mangena. It was booked for FSL ballistics. And then they indicated to me that then there should be an entry that is made on that column to indicate that the firearm has gone to the head office. It is how it came about that to head office has been written there in that column.
I can then ask you to turn again on that very same page, column 5, just the entries there and the dates.
It's 2020 of 07 on the 20th.
Usho njalo ukuthi i-date ithi i-20 zika-July 2020.
Entry ebhaliwe la ithi item 3.1 booked to FSL ballistic for further examination booked by service number so and so is Lieutenant Colonel C Mangena with the cell number.
Kanti ke bese kuyabhala lapho ke lento eyabhukwa ukuthi izoya khona laphana e-FSL ngamanye amazwi kuma ballistic ukuze ke iyohlolisiswa okanye iyovivinywa kanti ke yabhukwa kanye yakhishwa nguye lona uMangena uLieutenant Colonel Mangena wasetshenziswa ke nenombolo yakhe ayisebenzisayo yasemsebenzini yomsebenzi kanti ke nenombolo yomakhala ekhukhini wakhe.
If I can ask you to turn over the page. In the same column, what is the entry there?
And then 2020 ngawo futhi uJuly lo 27 item 3.1 to 3.3 booked back by Lieutenant Colonel Mangena. So 27 ngezizulu ukuthi bayibuyi basabuyi isibhamu ballistics buyiswa uye futhi uColonel Mangena.
Kanti ke kule khuluma esikhuluma ngayo yange iqala ngedate ithi i27 zikaJuly 2020 kukhulunywa ke ngo item 3.1 ukuya ku item 3.3 leyo nto yakhishwa nguye lona uMangena okanye yabuyiswa nguye uMangena waze wayisayinela nje khona lapho
ientry landelayo ngalo lelo langa futhi u Lieutenant Colonel Mangena ezoyithatha eyibuyisa back kumina kwase ehamba no Colonel by then uColonel BN Gininda owathi naye futhi naye mayiqeda nje ukubukwa back yena wayesenze entry futhi ku 2020 2020 items 3.1 to 3.2 Colonel Gininda head office book out for case number Fosloras 63610 2014 wasa starta ke manje futhi naye sibuyisela back ke kuyena kwi safe yakhe manje head office.
On that very day, the 27th of July 2020, the same items that were mentioned above, which is items 3.1 to 3.3, were booked out by Colonel Gininda from the head office. Gantige usho njalo ukuthi ngalo lolo suku uGininda weza futhi ke njengoba lesi sibhamu siyalethwa ke namhlanje siphinde futhi uyasikhipha yena ke uColonel Gininda wase head office number 636/10/2014 ngoba iyo i-case number yakhona ke yaleyo case ke ebandakanya it case Fosloras 3636/10/2014.
And from whom did he receive this firearm?
From me.
He received the firearm from me. Ushuti wasthola kimina leso spam.
Now, Captain, in brief, why was this firearm not destroyed as it was meant to be?
Nganeskazanga ke
Sa destroy lesi spam njengoba besifanele ukuthi siyo destroy.
Njengoba bengichazile ekuqaleni ukuthi isibhamu kuyahlala 1 year 2 years stress because kune paperwork eningi okufune uyenze nobe clear ngayo.
As I've already explained that one can keep the firearm 2-3 years because of the paperwork that still needs to be done. A lot of paperwork needs to be done before the firearm is destroyed. Njengoba sengishilo ke ukuthi kwafanele ukuthi kube namaphepha amaningi agcweliswayo kanye esisebenza ngawo amayelana naleso sibhamu angokuba leso sibhamu siyolahlwa.
You mentioned that by the time a firearm is destroyed, you'll be having a large file.
Yes, it will be. Yeah, kuzoba njalo.
Yes, it will be so.
When is this file opened?
As mina njoba ngishilo mina ngine yami list ukuthi ngizenzele yami list ukuthi mhla sekuthiwa lethani ibhamu mina ngazi ukuthi iziphi ibhamu ufune ngiyithathe.
As I have already said that I created my own list to be readily available in case of a day in which they will be saying that bring the firearms for distractions, I will be in the position to can comply.
Ilapho ke i-provincial ezosithumelela wonke amaphepha okumele ukuthi agcwaliswe.
That is where the provincial office will then be sending us all the documents that needs to be filled in pertaining that firearm.
So ngangilinde nje leyo instruction ke ukuthi ifike, so ngiyangishilo ukuthi kuthatha isikhathi ukuthi ifike.
I was then waiting for such an instruction to arrive. And as I've also indicated that it takes time before such instruction comes.
Then ukube yayifikile ke ngalesa sikhathi 3 months or what my lord ngabe la ibhokisi namhlanje.
If that came within the space of 3 months, I would not, after instruction, I would not be finding myself in this witness box.
Because lesibhamu lezo bezobe kade sasaba uvutho.
That would have been an ash already with that firearm. Manje,
so ngenxa ukuthi ke kwaba khona ukuthi kufanele silinde sidelay ukuthi silinde i-provincial isitshela ukuthi now preparani ke le bhamu na i-paperwork on it to complete. Yilapho ke ifile okufanele uqale uyisebenze ke nje mase kwaphuma i-call-up instruction.
Now, once that call-up instructions have been issued, this is when you start with that filing, compilation of documents.
And ukubeka nje kancane wena ngosenkantolo lokuthi la encwadini zami lesibhamu certified off noma sibuya futhi sibuya sisathi asina serial number. Isibhamu esingena serial number ke sinayo eyayi process futhi okumele sihambe before si destruct.
Now, the recordings that I have pertaining to a particular firearm, the number has been filed off. Even when it came back, the firearm was still not having any serial number with it. Now, it means there is a special procedure that needs to be complied with or followed as far as the firearm that does not have the serial number with it.
And what is that procedure?
It's in their procedure.
In National Head Office, iyokuphela ethatha ibhamu ezingena ezifayiliwe ezinga ukuthi i-serial number zange i-retrieve ke ballistic.
Now, the National Office is the office that is responsible for such firearms as those ones whose serial number has been filed off. Or that the ballistics
bazophinda futhi nabo bathumele futhi email necall futhi thathani ibhamu nizisendaweni eso or ziletheni zonke ibhamu ezingena serial numbers sizokwazi bezokwazi ukuzoziphantsha abazinikeze a new serial number which is a WR number which stands for weapon registry.
Now the call-up has been issued, it will be there will be instructions that are particular as to where the firearms should be taken to. All of those firearms that do not have the serial number, they will be taken there. And once they are taken into that particular office, then they're going to punch in the serial number. And
WR number, weapon register number.
And they will be given the weapon register number or the WR number.
ZA number.
Even though others also saying that it's a ZA number.
Ngoba kumele kube ne record yaleso sibhamu ukuthi kwenzeka leso sibhamu ke exist.
Now, because there should be a record pertaining that firearm that once existed.
And to add on that, why any reason for why let's bam leso singakhelwanga out same time ilokuzana.
Singa
instruction le ingenziwanga same time ukuthi siyo destroy. Enye reason ukuthi isibhamu unama civil claims amaningi ukuthi amaphoyisa a destroy ibhamu zabantu. Umuntu abuya aqhamuka after 6 years athi uzofuna isibhamu sakhe.
Now, another reason why the firearm or that the compliance with the destruction of the firearm was not done immediately, it has to do or it relates with the civil claims or civil suits. The police will be receiving the firearms, instruction would be issued out to say that the firearm should be destroyed, and 6 months or after some time a person comes and he says that he wants his firearm.
So zonke lezo zinto kumele ukuthi sizama ukuzi-avoid ukuthi ngenzeki.
No.
That's why singajaheli ngesibhamu noma instruction engaphuma today awujahi kusasa suyasi-destroy isibhamu.
Now, those are the factors or dynamics that we need to consider. Even if you can receive an instruction today for the destruction of the firearm, you don't just up and go and destroy the firearm. You consider all those factors.
Well, so we didn't take the normal short adjournment. Are we going to
Still
take
going
it,
to be long.
or are we proceeding?
Yeah. Now tell me, are you still going to be long?
No, my lord. I think there's just one or two aspects.
Yeah, let's finalize the evidence of this gentleman so that we can give Mr. Mnisi all those documents. He can even take them from this time and we start tomorrow so that he must have time to peruse them. Is that okay?
As the court pleases. Now, you mentioned that in the file that you compile, there must also be a ballistic report.
Yebo kunjalo.
It is indeed so. The file that I compile must have the ballistic report. My lord, I was trying to interpret to the accused persons. I think the file engizoyixoxa-ke kumele ibe ne-ballistic report.
Now, that process began in this respect of this firearm, of compiling a file.
Ngasikhathi le case ifinalizwa yalesibhamu le 96 Cleveland edokethini beyingekho ilokuzana i-ballistic report.
At the time that the case was finalized, that is the case number 96/02/2015 of Cleveland,
Ibingekho i-ballistic report.
the ballistic report was not in the file.
But the docket yona ayiliwe storeroom.
The docket had already been filed in the storeroom, though.
Is there an indication of when it was filed?
Ngabe kukhona la kubonisa khona ukuthi yafilwa nini?
Mangikhumbula kahle ngazathi 27/07/2017.
If I remember well, it was filed on the 27th of July, 2017.
So what is the date that you've just mentioned? What is the significance of the date? What happened on the date?
Kwenzakaleni nge 27th July 2017.
Ilapho i-case i-1096 la yaba finalize the court le position of unlicensed firearm la finalizwa ngayo leyo date leyo.
This is the date in which this case 96/02/2015 was finalized in court.
Now, what would have been the process after it was finalized?
The process whether emva ukuthi finalized.
Okay, ngizochaza ngokwazi kwami ne angisiyona detective.
Yes.
Look, I'm not a detective, but I will just give an explanation based on my knowledge.
Yes.
If i-case isiphelile e-court sebe finalize
Once the case has been finalized at court,
noma umuntu has been sentenced or has been acquitted,
whether the person has been sentenced or acquitted,
the docket must go iyahamba idocket i-IO ithatha idocket iye nayo ku branch commander wayo.
now O will subsequent to those proceedings take that docket to his branch commander,
Because le docket in exhibit.
because that docket has an exhibit with it.
enele exhibit ngoba lo muntu ake sithi umuntu sentenziwe.
The person has already been sentenced,
So kune exhibit
and in the interim, we do have the exhibit pertinent
and
to
the
that
docket
case.
say finalize so funeka kwenzeke something ngale exhibit ekhona.
And the docket has already been finalized. Something needs to be done with this exhibit.
Okay, uzohamba aye ku branch commander aka explain docket masibuye court ukuthi dileke ngale case umuntu sentenziwe kune exhibit.
Now the IO then proceed to the branch commander and say that we were at the court, the matter has been finalized. However, here is the exhibit. We do have the exhibit that is still outstanding here.
Angeke ngibakhulumele ka branch commander ndoda. But ke kodwa ke kumele bayiperuse futhi docket.
Now, I cannot speak on behalf of the branch commanders. Themselves should peruse the docket.
Bathola ukuthi khona yini wonke into iyenziwe konke nje oyivalwa nje le docket uthi wonke ama steps alandeliwe manje njoba kune exhibit ikhona yini ballistic report.
Now, they should ascertain to whether all the steps have been taken, all the procedures have been met with or complied with, since now the docket has now been closed. And the exhibit as well that is attached to that particular docket, has there been a ballistic report that was compiled or issued?
If a ballistic report ingekho or ikhona kungenzeka ibe khona I ballistic report but ithi khumbula ukuthi le spam lesi city filed off uthola ukuthi ballistic ihlulekile ngazo zonke indlela ietching yabo bahlulile ukuthi bathole ba retrieve serial number, then a decision ezothathwa lapho ukuthi forfeit to the state and destroy.
Now, let us say that the firearm has been taken in for ballistics and then it comes back. They tried all they could to try and retrieve the serial number, and they could still not retrieve the serial number of that firearm. That firearm eventually, or the eventuality of that firearm would be that it should be forfeited to the state and be destroyed.
Ngoba ngisho ukuthi kule case ke idocket yasebenza yaye court yaze yaqeda ingekho ballistic report kwaze kwathathwa finalized yonke into response yakho. So ithe mayifika ku branch commander the decision ayithatha u branch yokuthi item 3.1 to up to 3.23 must be forfeited to the state and be destroyed for descent for destruction.
As I have already indicated, that there was no ballistic report that was compiled in this docket pertaining this particular item, particularly item 3.1 to item 3.3. The instruction that then came from the branch commander,
yes,
was that this particular items or this item must be forfeited to the state and be destroyed.
It's fine, the branch commander will come and explain that.
So if usebeqedile ukufaka ama instruction leyo then it IO funeka buyise docket to the station ke manje azoyifile ku SAP 6 store. SAP ilapho archive ama dockets.
Now, once that process has been successfully undertaken, the docket should be taken by the IO from the branch commander and it be filed in the SAP 6 store for archiving.
Omunye ke emsebenzi yami ukuthi mangihleli lapha nje emsebenzini kumele luke ngivisita wonke lama register ama firearm.
Part of my duties, when I am busy executing my duties, I have to peruse registers such as these ones.
Ukubona ukuthi akhona yini ama entry asenama entry anama instructions
to ascertain,
destroy or hand over or send back to the station.
To ascertain whether there are still some entries that still has some items that needs or that have some instructions for either destroying or the item be sent to a particular office for destruction.
If ekhona njengayo lesikhuluma ngayo ilapho ke ngizoqala khona mina ke ngizenzele ngiqale ngithatha wonke lezo zinto uma exhibits ngiwabeke at a certain place ukuthi the dangers ekufuneka ukuthi ngidile ngawo for distraction alapha.
This is where, personally, I'll be dealing with, or that I will be compiling my own list of these items. I will be dealing with each item and then, packing them or storing them in a particular place so that those items may be readily available in case there's instructions or the call-up instructions that are made.
Osilungisela in particular place angisho ukuthi siphume storeroom ngiyasipheka nje zingahlangana ipamu zingahlangana lezi ezinye which case are still
storeroom.
Yes, same storeroom, same safe place. Sibheka nje on a set zodwa. Those one of
Let me say that in particular that they are put inside of the storeroom together with the firearms, even though I'm going to separate them from other items that are stored in there.
Yes, Colonel Bayat will be testifying in respect of Annexure B, but if you can have a look at Annexure B. What is the instruction that was given in respect of the disposal of the exhibit in this case?
Annexure B, the first page or the second page? Last one.
The last page.
The last page.
Because they look now.
Yeah, disposal of exhibits. Captain Bade put instruction that forward items 3.1, 3.2, 3.3 for destruction. That is Colonel Bayat.
Yes. Kanti ke khona lapho ke makulahle wona okanye zona le zobufakazi ama exhibits ubhalile kana Bayat or Colonel Bayat ukuthi makuledwe lezinto okay ziswe ziyolahlwa ke item 3.1 3.2 ne 3.3
and the date.
The date is 2017-08-18.
Kanti i-date yakhona ke boku i-18 is ka August 2017.
Yes, and the last entry there.
The last one.
Yes.
Then on 2017-08-24, ilesikhathi ke idocket ibuya kulo umuntu osesukile lapha njengamanje. Warrant Officer Lipi wa acknowledge ukuthi okay sengibuyile idocket. Instruction isinikiwe ukuthi funeke ngenze nale exhibit, then ke now idocket sengahambi yofayilwa ku SAP6.
Now Warrant Officer Libepi on the 24th of August 2017 enlightened that the document has now returned and therefore the document has to go and be and the exhibits should be filed.
No, you've earlier referred to an entry by Lieutenant Colonel Makhala, which appears on page 2 of Exhibit X2 with an entry date of 2017-11/2010.
Yebo. Okwenzeka la ukuthi malibuya idocket nge-24 za August.
Now, what happened here is when the docket came back on the 24th of August,
Warrant Officer Libipo wayesebenza by the SAP 13.
Now, during that time, Warrant Officer Libipo is the one that was working at SAP 13.
Walivala le docket ukuthi yebo kune exhibit ngizoyidisposa as per instruction.
He closed this docket and said that and considered that there is an exhibit and I will dispose procedurally.
And then the docket yathathwa ya ku SAP store.
And then the docket was taken into the SAP 13 store.
And then mina mangizothatha over ke in 2019.
And when I came to take over in 2019,
when I was making everything check yonke lapha izosala ibhekene nami.
Now, as I was perusing or checking everything that will fall, within the ambit of my responsibilities.
Njoba ngishilo ukuthi ngangiya encwadini ngibheke ukuthi imaphi ama exhibit nama instruction. Ngangabheki kuphela ibhamu. Ngangibheka even nama general exhibits.
Now, as I've already indicated that I would go through the registers and check which acts do have some instructions. I wasn't particularly checking the firearms. I was also checking the general exhibits as well.
Yes, those ukuthi kufuneke ngenzeni ngizokwazi ukuthi lama instructions ngikwazi ukwa implementa, carried out.
Now, I need to sure that all the instructions that were issued out should be carried out as well.
And then mangifika kule ncwadi le ngiyathola ukuthi uColonel Matakhala kune instruction ayenzile ngo2017 11 10 nge10.
And when I get to this one point in particular, I realize that Colonel Matakhala has issued an instruction on the 10th of November 2017.
Le instruction is kumele ukuthi encwadini yami ibhuku leli amakhophi esenza amakhophi ngoba kune instruction and kune space la, which means that this part le fire is still in the safe, ne? But manje ngalelo langa lelo ngithi na ilokuzana idocket seyivaliwe everything, but akuna entry instruction here. Athi ngibeke kanje.
Now, there was when I was busy perusing here, I realized that the docket has been closed, but aguna my instructions. Yes. But there are no instructions that have been issued.
And ma be withdraw le docket ngale bathola ukuthi yo docket kade yahlala ihlale nge24 ka August.
Now, when they checked pertaining this document, this docket, they found that the docket has been there, or it's been lying around since the 24th of August, 2017.
But bengekho instruction la encwadini.
However, there was no instruction that was written here in this book.
Ukuze kube ne instruction ngoba le docket ivaliwe. Yes, kwi docket ikhona instruction. Is there?
No, we must concede to the fact that there is an instruction on the docket
from the branch commander.
That is from the branch commander.
So, but manje la incwadi yami register yona ina instruction.
However, my book, the register, does not have the instruction.
So, ukuthatha le docket, we withdraw manje storeroom docket.
Then one has to take that docket from the docket store, from the storeroom.
Bayise iye kwi branch commander yama detective station.
Now it should be taken to the branch commander of the detectives in my station.
Kanye ne register.
Together with that register.
Masifika if kwenzeka kumina something like this is that ngizombonisa branch commander. The branch commander of a unit, because some unit asebenzele station, useyifakile instruction, but the instruction ayikho la encwadini.
Now, let us say it is myself that is now going to that branch commander. I will say, branch commander, the other branch commander from the unit, which are not working obviously in the station, has already put the instruction on the docket. However, the instruction does not appear on the register or the book.
Naye also lo branch commander wami umnikeza idocket what?
Even that branch commander of mine, I will hand him the docket and the book.
And then uzoya through naye the first thing first kufuneka uyicheck ballistic report ukuthi ithini ngale exhibit.
He will also peruse the documents that I have given to him. The first thing that is going is what does the ballistic report say pertaining this exhibit.
If a ballistic report is corner, maybe in serial number was retrieved, the instruction will be different here.
Now, if the ballistic report is there and the serial number has been retrieved, then the instruction will be different.
Why is it different? Ingoba isibhamu sesitholakele ukuthi who is the owner of the firearm.
That would be because it would have been found who is the owner of the firearm.
Lezo sibhamu ke funeka sibuyele kwi owner yaso.
Now
kumele si destroy.
kumele sibuyele or sidistroy.
Funeke sibuyele kwi-owner, not to be destroyed.
That firearm must go back to the owner and not to be destroyed.
But in particular this one, because it docket ilangenayo ballistic report, so let's pamsahlala nje ukuthi asina serial number akwaziwa usikabani. That's why Colonel Matakhala ye beno Colonel Bayat beze kwi conclusion A1 that this item firearm must be forfeited to the state and be destroyed.
Now, coming to this firearm in particular, because this firearm was there for quite some time, there was no ballistic report, no serial number pertaining to this firearm. Colonel Matakhala came to the conclusion that this firearm must then be forfeited to the state and be destroyed.
Because labantu bebesebenza la babenza lento engenza nami ukuchecka incwadi ukuthi kume kanjani. Bathi ke mabe find out talento lokuthi idocket ivaliwe but incwadi yami yona ina instruction. Bathatha idocket nencwadi baya ku Colonel Matakhala ukuthi ini instruction. That's why ke kune gap kuma dates.
Now, these colleagues of mine also follow the same steps. They realize that the docket has been closed, yet there are no instructions within the book or the register here. And then that is why there's a gap between the dates here.
Yes, because part with date Ubayatu Mayvala, which is 27/08/18, Vala Unitin, at the forfeit and destroyed. Then SAP 13 by the time Ulibipe as acknowledge ukuthi yes docket ibuyile kune exhibit which is the 24th. Now let's get benza ke nje daily inspection. I realize ukuthi docket is there, it's closed, but la there's no intention bathatha ke docket ne register ukuthi Colonel Matakhala ayofaka ini instruction encwadini. Wathina sebenza instruction ye docket ukudestroy izinto. Sisebenza nge-instruction ye-SAP 13 register.
So the date there was when the docket was closed on the 18th of August 2017 by Colonel Bayat, and then Lebepe, that is Warrant Officer Lebepe, signed in receipt of this docket that it was a docket that was closed on the 24th of August 2017. While they were busy working on that, that docket had to be taken together with the register so that to the branch commander at the station, that is Matakhala. So as there should be the instruction that reads that it be forfeited to the state and be destroyed.
So yiko ke lokho kwenza ukuthi ama dates kube ngazathi ayagejana la.
That is the reason why it appears as though no, the dates are actually sequential or not in order. Yeah, there is. Yeah, there is a gap in between because all these things did not happen on the same day.
But if we docket be investigate station some and iyavalwa the branch command khona la before the IO ihambisa iyovala docket we station uzoza kumina eoffice nathi ngicela incwadi 13 number so and so ngiyofaka instruction because le docket iyavalwa lokho kwenzeka the very same day.
Now if everything happens within my station and the IO is indicating that the docket has been closed, he's going to come and say that he needs the SAP 13 number, the register, and the number as well. And then on that same day, the procedure will be finalized, or the docket will be closed accordingly.
Yeah, you will notice that the instruction on the docket is the same date as the instruction on the register.
That is, as the witness has indicated, which instruction esedokethini ne-instruction evelela lana kwi-register zenzeke ngosuku olulodwa kanjalo.
Do you perhaps know as to which station was investigating this particular docket?
Uyakwazi ukuthi esiphi station sasiphenya leli cala okanye le docket?
Ngabe ngiqambamanga lokuzana I was not around at the time.
I'd be lying. I wasn't around during the time. Uthi bengekho mina ngaleso sikhathi. Ngeke ngikwazi ukusho ukuthi esiphi station esasebenza nake nale docket.
Thank you. Is there anything else that you want to add, Captain?
ngabe khona kuthize futhi usafuna ukusho ukuthula le nkolo?
Bengithi ngizamile ukuchaza konke.
I thought I tried to explain everything.
Thank you, my lord. That is all.
Yeah, so what's your time now?
It's exactly 12 o'clock, my lord.
Aye. Are you available, Colonel, tomorrow?
Yes, my lord, I'll avail myself.
Yeah, because I'm making an order that those documents which you were testifying from, they should be handed over to the defense teams here, so that they must peruse them, read them, and prepare their cross-examination if necessary. I don't want people to say, we were not given enough time. That's why I'm saying we are adjourning now for that exercise. Okay, is that okay? Do you have, no, unless you have another witness.
Yeah, there's another witness.
Yeah,
also.
fine, but it's got nothing to do with this.
A short witness, my lord.
Yeah, fine, that other witness we can entertain. But this witness has to come back tomorrow after the perusal of those documents by the defense teams. Is that okay?
Yes, my lord. Yes, my lord.
Must I go home now and come back tomorrow?
Yeah, you don't want to go home.
No, I want to go home. Thank you, my lord.
Okay.
The state calls the next witness is Colonel Bayat. He's not on the witness list, my lord.
Oh, it's also not on the witness list. Eh?
For a short adjournment before we continue with the next witness.
How long? What's the time? You said?
10 minutes, my lord.
It's 12 o'clock, my lord. It's now 3 minutes past 12.
Let's come back at half past.
Thank you, my lord. Thank you.